This lesson is going to be talking about division using the place value model. You should have a piece of paper and a pencil at your desk. You should be following along with me doing the problems on your paper as I'm doing them on my whiteboard. The first problem we're going to do is 48 divided by 4. Go ahead and do that on your paper. We're going to make a place value chart. So on the right side of your paper, let's go ahead and set up a place value chart. At the top of my chart, we're going to do tens, and we're going to do ones. And we're first going to represent our 48 that's being divided into 4 equal groups. So I'm going to do my place value chart 48, which is 4 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now it says 48 divided by 4. Right now I have 40 and I have 8. And I'm going to divide that into 4 equal groups. So down below in the bottom of my place value chart, I'm going to divide my place value chart into 4 equal groups. There's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, and 4 groups. So again, I have 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, and 4 groups. And I'm really just looking to see how many are going to go into each group. Okay, I don't really need to put my numbers there, so I'm going to erase those. All right, so let's go back to my numbers up here. I have 40 and 8. I'm going to start with my 10. So I'm going to cross off a 10. I'm going to put my 110 into one of my groups. Do the same thing. We'll put another 10 into another group, another 10, another 10 into another group, and another 10 into my last group. So at this point I am all finished. There's no more 10s left. I divided 110 into each group. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing now with my ones. I'm always going to start with my biggest number, my biggest place value, which is my tens in this case, and go down then to my ones. So do the same thing with my ones. Cross off a 1, put it in a group, cross off a 1, put in a group, cross off a 1, put in a group, cross off a 1, put in a group. So I've used 4, I divided 4 into each group. I'm going to do the same thing with the next 4. Alright, so I've now divided my 40 and my 8 into my 10s and my 1s. At this point I'm ready to look for my answer. And my answer, I can see how many 10s I have in each group. So I have 1 10 in each group, and I have 2 1s in each group. So, oops, I want to do that. Let's see, if I have 1 10, and I'm going to add 2 1s to it, that's like saying 10 plus 2, and we know that to be 12. So my quotient in this case is 12. Now if I look at my answer, or look at my place value chart, I notice up here that I don't have any remainders. I've used up all of my numbers. So I have no remainders. So I could put an R equals 0, but really I don't need to do that because I have no remainder. Okay, let's do another problem. This time we're trying to do a problem that actually has a remainder. So let's do 86, and let's divide this problem by 4. Okay, we're again going to use a place value model to demonstrate this problem, to show this problem. And I haven't said it before, but if any time you need to catch up, just hit pause, catch up if you need to, and then hit resume. You can do that by just pressing the middle of the screen to pause the program. Okay, let's do our place value chart. Go ahead and set it up to the right on your paper. Let's put our tens at the top. Let's do our ones next to it. And we're going to represent 86. We know 86 is 8 tens and 6 ones. Let's start with our tens. Put in your 8 tens. And then put your ones in. So it's 6 ones. So we have 8 tens and 6 ones. Alright, now let's divide our 86 into 4 equal groups. Down below I'm going to make 4 groups. I need to make a little extra line there at the bottom so they all fit in. So I now have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections to divide 86 in between. I always start with my largest number. I start with my tens. I'm going to cross off a number and I'm going to put it down below into my chart. I'm going to do this until all of my numbers are gone and I've divided them equally. So I cross off another one, put it into my chart, another one, put it in my chart, another one, put it in my chart. So now I've crossed off half of my dots and I still have 4 left to go. I know I can divide 4 equally into 4 groups, so I can keep going. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to cross up another one off, put it in my chart, cross another one off, put it in my chart. Always cross off first and then put it into your chart. That way you keep track of what you're doing. So at this point I've crossed off all of my tens. I now have 2 tens for part of my quotient, part of my answer. So the first number is 2, so I know it's 20 something. I need to figure out my ones now. Cross off my ones, same thing, same process. I'm going to go through and cross one off each time. So at this point I crossed off 4. I've divided 4 into 4 of the groups, so I only have 2 left. I know I can't divide those 2 equally into 4 groups, so I'm going to stop. Okay? I know that I'm going to have a 1 now. My quotient is actually going to be 21. And then my 2 that I have left up above there, those are going to turn into my remainder. So I have my answer of 21 with a remainder of 2. So I have 2 tens, and I'm going to have 1 1, and 2 tens, as we know, is 20. I'm going to add 1 to it, and that's going to give me 21. And so my quotient now is going to be 21, and my remainder, like I said, my remainder is up there. It's my 2 ones. That'll give me my 2 ones for my remainder. Now let's put this problem into our standard algorithm. This is the algorithm where we have our normal line that you might think of division with. We're going to put the problem that we just into this equation. So we have 86. We're dividing that by 4. So first things first, just like we did before, the first thing we did before is we divided our 86 by 4, and we looked at our tens first. So we're going to look at our tens. We're going to look at our 8 tens, dividing it into 4 equal groups. So there's our 8 tens. We're dividing that into 4 equal groups. Okay. As we know, when we went back to our last problem, we found that there were 2 in each group. So the same thing is going to count in this problem. So we're going to have 2 in each group. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out how many of our tens do we use. So we used 2, 4, 6, 8. Again, that's going to be another way of saying that is 2 times, oops, sorry about that, 2 times 4 is 8. And so we're going to do that right here. So 2 times 4 is 8. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract those 2 to see if we have any left over. As you know, when we do 8 minus 8, we don't have any left over. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring this 6 down. And now we're going to do the same thing we did before, where we looked at our ones next. And we took our 6 ones and we divided those 6 ones into 4 equal groups down below here. We're going to do the same thing here. we're going to take our 6 ones and we're going to divide those into 4 equal groups. If we remember back from last problem, there was 1 in each group. Okay, we could do 1 times 4, and we know 1 times 4 is 4. We put our 4 right down here, and we subtract those two. So 6 minus 4, we get 2. There's nothing left up here to bring down, so this turns into our remainder. So we have a remainder of 2. This concludes or ends our little lesson that we have for today. What I'd like you to do is put your name in the top right hand corner of your paper and bring your paper and put it over on my back table. Again, we are finished. You can go ahead and log out and put your Chromebook back.